Quilts are flying, colors splash. Pins and patches, stories grow. Stitching secrets we all know. Patchwork of laughter sewn in time. A spool of joy on every line. We chat, we sew, we laugh, we thrive. Stephen and Walter, our life. Sewing tales with every square. Buttons falling everywhere. A crooked seam, but who will care? Iron presses lined so neat. Friendships quilt can't be beat. Patchwork of laughter sewn in time. A spool of joy on every line. We chat, we sew, we laugh, we thrive. Stephen and Walter, our life. Sewing tales with every square. Buttons falling everywhere. A crooked seam, but who will care? Iron presses lined so neat. Friendships quilt can't be beat. Patchwork of laughter sewn in time. A spool of joy on every line. We chat, we sew, we laugh, we thrive. Stephen and Walter, our life. Our life.
Stitch by stitch they weave the tale. A patchwork life where laughs prevail. Patterns clash, but who can tell? Quilted chaos suits us well. Stephen and Walter live on air. Threading humor, they don't care. Teaching, chatting, pulling strings. Life's a quilt of funny things. Pins and needles, jokes abound. Sewing secrets they have found. Fabric flying all around. It's a show where joy is bound. Stephen and Walter live on air. Threading humor, they don't care. Teaching, chatting, pulling strings. Life's a quilt of funny things. Pins and needles, jokes abound. Sewing secrets they have found. Fabric flying all around. It's a show where joy is bound. Stephen and Walter live on air. Threading humor, they don't care. Teaching, chatting, pulling strings. Life's a quilt of funny things. Pins and needles, jokes abound. Sewing secrets they have found. Fabric flying all around. It's a show where joy is bound. Pins and needles, jokes abound. Sewing secrets they have found. Fabric flying all around.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's live with me, Stephen.
With you.
With me. And
Him.
it. over here, cousin. Yeah, whatever. Walter. Yes, we are working now. Okay, good. You can turn that down. Stephen. Don't need to hear that part anymore. Okay, so people are coming in fast and furious. Let's see who's here. Well, number one spot today is Barb. She said she slept in and still got the number one spot. Hi, Russ. Russ isn't here yet, but Russ was doing a thing this afternoon, his monthly with the Moda block, or is it Kona? One or the other that he's doing this sew along thing with. Inez is here. Hi, Inez. And Nina. And
Barb.
Betty is here. I said Barb.
All right.
It was the first one. Jeez, get with the program. Catch up. Okay. Jeez, slow. What were you doing? Were you cutting the grass or smoking it?
Yeah, I was cutting it.
Oh, that's what you call it. Betty finally remembered it was that we were on today. We're always on Sunday afternoons at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
We don't live anywhere near anybody that's growing it, so.
What, weed?
Yeah. Well, if I go down to the townhouses.
Oh, well, there, yeah. Well, I still, yeah, sometimes I still don't know whether it's skunk or it's marijuana.
Well, if it's skunk, it has really acidic smell to it, right? But if it's weed, it doesn't have that acidic
and
smell.
you know all this how? Did you go up behind a skunk and hold a joint in one hand and hold its tail in the other?
Well, that's my assumption, I think.
Oh, your assumption. Well, you know what you do. What you do with an assumption, right? When
you I used to know a friend that grew it, so I remember what that smelled like.
Yeah, we all had a friend that grew it. Aha, friend. Yeah, whatever. It's legal. Pace is here. Hi, Pace, and Suzanne, and Mona, Charlotte, Susan, Jean, Sue Norfleet, Bonnie from Sudbury is here. John's here. Hi, John, from Art East, and Karen is here from Vancouver, USA, across the river from the war zone in Portland.
You didn't hear that?
No.
Donald Trump sent the troops into Portland.
Good God. Jeez. Oh, well. We'll get into his stupid little boy tricks later. Phyllis is here. Hi, Phyllis. Barb says, don't make excuses for Russ. Yeah, I know, Barb. You're right. I shouldn't make excuses. I'm going to get that printed on a t-shirt. What was I going to say? Don't make excuses for someone else's bad. Something like that. Jeannie's here. Hi, Jeannie. Sue says, hi, John. I'm going to take my Flying Tigers top the long armor this week. Yeah, Sue's been working on one of John's patterns, and it's coming out really nice.
Yeah.
With it. Marilyn's here. Hi, Marilyn.
I think I saw it. Would she have it hanging up?
Yeah, she had it. Yeah, she's working on it. It was hanging on her design wall on Wednesday and behind the Tigers on it because the Tigers had to do with a football team that her nephew plays for, and that's going to be a gift and all of that. I don't know. I don't remember much about football. I'm not even sure what football is.
It has a funny shaped ball.
Is that the one that you hit with a bat and knock it into one of the 18 holes and then run the bases? Or I don't know. I get them all mixed up. So we've got lots of people joining us right now. And yeah, today, I don't know what we're going to get to today because I plan things a few days before we do it. Well, in some cases, it's a week before. But with Stephen and Walter live, I kind of don't plan it. I add things to it during the week that I think we might talk about. Then I have to reshape it. And then something new comes up. And this is kind of because it is a live and the way it's done, it is more of a off-the-cuff kind of production, kind of a thing. So I had what we were going to talk about, and then we had something happen yesterday that I really feel a need to talk to you about. So we may get to all of it. We may only get to part of it. So
it also depends on how much you discuss things to everybody else. Adds to the
yeah, as everybody adds to the conversation, and please do, because I've always said this before with the live, we really do depend upon having interaction, even though it's kind of a limited interaction because of the way this works with the chat and everything. We need that. We feed into that. Okay, so
apparently somebody told us that if you talk more on here or you send more messages, you get less advertising. I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. But YouTube, just on a side note here, and when I go into what I have to set up to do this live, YouTube now reminds me that I can make 20% more revenue if I allow ads to show up in the sidebar when people are here. I turn it off. I'll have you know I turn it off. So if you're getting any ads in a sidebar, then YouTube's lying to me about that because I turn it off. I don't agree to do that. So yeah, just so you know. Yeah, and now there's why you guys can't see this, but on our screen, what just came up, it says, now would be a good time to insert ads. Creators earn more money inserting ads the more viewers are watching. Give it a try. And there's a little button that says close. Guess what I'm doing? No, close. Bye-bye. No, not having that. But that's what they're doing these days. And they're getting very, well, they've always been aggressive, YouTube. But they're getting worse anymore. It's just pound.
Enough commercials on here without.
Yeah. And Russ gave me a link to a YouTube video where a guy was talking about the ads and what YouTube is doing and everything like that. And it was very informative. Basically, the bottom line is, as a creator, we have very little say. In fact, we have no say. They make us feel like we can control the number of ads, but in reality, we cannot. We cannot. So, yeah, we just have to put up. Those of you that pay for YouTube, you don't get ads. But you know,
seems to say she gets them in the sidebar.
Yeah, well, that's what this says in the thing that I turned off, that they would put them in the sidebar. So it doesn't interrupt the flow of the conversation of the live. But I turned that off. It asked me if I want to do that or not. I said, no, I do not. So if it's coming up, they're lying to me. It doesn't matter what I tell it to do. It's going to do its own thing. So Candace is here. Hi, Candace. What's that? Candace? Linda's here. Linda. And Zaza is here as well. Gloria has entered. And have I missed anybody? No, but Barb says, I've really noticed that lately creators are suggestive selling during their videos. Yeah, I don't know about the suggestive part. I'd say it's just outright selling it. I mean, there are, okay, here's something else as a creator that we get. I get emails pretty much every other day, if not every day, and several times a day, where somebody wants to collaborate with me to sell their product. Now, I mark those as phishing and dismiss them. I've never entertained the idea. Some of them are definitely scammers. Some of them, though, are legit companies. And they sometimes send you a product to review for nothing, or they pay you something. I don't know. I don't think you get a whole lot out of it. But basically what they want you to do is they'll send you, from what I gather, they send you an outline of speaking points, and you go ahead and make an ad for them in the body of your YouTube program. So you've heard people like Karen Brown of Just Get It Done Quilts is constantly flaunting some bed out of a box or something. There's other ones on some of the YouTube videos that I watch that have to do with 3D printing. There are many of them that are flaunting filament or printers or other things that go along with 3D printing. Or there's a big service in the 3D printing world called PCB Way, which is basically a company that will 3D print for you. And they can do it on an industrial level as well. So there's a lot of the 3D printing people that do YouTubes that flaunt them. And I've been approached, but I'm not doing it. I am not doing it.
I find it's particularly annoying when people flaunt stuff that has nothing to do with the subject that they're talking about.
Oh, I've got ones for ladies' undergarments. They want me, oh, hi girls. How are your girls? Do you get the full support that your girls deserve? Or are they hanging on the floor and dragging? then you need a Swiffer. Uh, yeah, but yeah, they don't seem to care what that you flaunt as long as you flaunt it, and I'm not doing that. So you're never going to see me doing an ad for anything on here because I don't. Dubrovka's here. Hi, Dubrovka. You're here from Sunny Timmins, crying here you missed me. We are here from Sunny Timmins, crying here you missed me. Oh, you get...
Oh yeah, no.
No, yeah.
You missed saying hi, Dubrovka.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry, Dubrovka. Sorry. How could I miss her? How could I miss her? I didn't see her come up here before. No. There's a time delay. Let's just blame it on that, shall we? Yeah. Okay. So Dubrovka's here, everybody. Life would not be the same without Dubrovka and Al. Let's not forget about Al. Barb says, I really know okay, go down. They put them in the chat now too. They're really pushing YouTube Premium. Oh yeah, for sure. Hi, Colleen. Did I say hi to Linda? Well, if I didn't, I am now. Marjan is here. Hi, Marjan. And everybody's saying hello to everybody else. Zaza says, that's okay if it's something you like and use, but yeah, Karen Browns are just silly. Yeah, they are. And the thing that really gets me about the Karen Brown ones, not to call her out particularly because there's other ones too, but she's a Canadian. The product she is flaunting is American, and it's not free. It's only free shipping in the continental USA, not in Canada. So, like, really, why would we as Canadians, especially right now, be buying a bed in a box from an American company that doesn't even give us free shipping to Canada? So, yeah, no, not happening. Linda says, what you been sewing? Oh, we'll talk about that in a minute, Linda. Oh, Dubrovka still loves us. Okay. All right. So Linda has asked the question, what you been sewing? By the way, what is not a word. So let's see. Show you here. It's the Stormy Sea quilt. You all have seen it many times over, but you haven't seen, this is some of those smaller blocks finally put together. What are you looking at?
Nothing.
What are you trying to figure out? Oh, okay. I know what you're looking at. Okay. I just noticed it too when I blew it up. Okay. If you guys look at that big, huge block, now you're getting a sense of what this quilt's going to look like, but there are still many blocks to go. But Walter just staring at it, because if you look over on the right-hand side of your screen, there's something weird in those blocks that in reality doesn't exist. On the iPhone, when I took this picture, I have a light that was hanging in over a little desk lamp kind of thing that got into the picture. And I thought I'd try their little cleanup mode that they have, which allows you to circle something that you want to remove from a picture, and it's supposed to fill in the background with whatever your main focal point is. Well, it didn't do it very well. So it's got this weird looking swirly things happening down there. But that's not on the quilt. That's just...
No, I can vouch for that.
Yeah, Walter just double checked. He almost... I could tell he was getting real excited when he went and he took a look at it.
No, I just was trying to figure out how the hell that looked, because I'm sure that wasn't something you did.
And until I blew it up here on the big screen that we're looking at, I hadn't seen that on my phone, that I had done that. It's really quite accentuated with it. Yeah, technology works when it works and when it doesn't. But anyways, things are coming along quite nicely with this quilt. And before anybody says anything, I think I brought this up on So Chatty the other day. You will notice, and Walter did immediately, and he was like teeing, you made a mistake. I did not.
Well, no, I just thought it looked weird.
If you look up here, look at the very center of this big panel, or whatever you want to call it, and then go up to your left and you see a square, well, a diamond, right, with the blue in the center. And then right next to that is another weird looking diamond here, but it looks like it's cut off. Well, it's the same on all four sides. It is not cut off. That I had to double check that on the picture of the final quilt, and that's exactly what it's supposed to look like. I'm not sure why they did it that way.
I think it's to make you focus on the centerpiece.
Maybe because they call that the compass, the
Yeah.
needle compass or something, that square. So I don't know, but now I can't take my eyes away from that.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of a little strange looking.
I mean, all they needed was a couple of half square triangles right in here.
Yeah.
Or they could have done another block sort of like this, but all, I don't know. Maybe they tried that. Maybe that would have made it look even funnier. I don't know.
I don't know.
But of course, we're focusing on just a small part of this quilt. When the other pieces get on here, I think your eyes will be diverted from it.
Yeah.
But before someone writes in comments, you made a mistake. No, I did not. I double checked it on the actual picture, and that is exactly how it's supposed to look. So there you are. And what have you been working on?
Well, I still am working on that shirt that I'm making for you. I put the pocket on. I just have to hem it and put the buttons on, which it doesn't take me that long, but I haven't been working on it the last couple of days. So
He's been busy. He's been busy his gardening and things like that. We have lots of peppers. Actually, we just gave a lot of some peppers and some cucumbers to our neighbors next door because we can't eat it all. And then tonight for dinner, we're having a lot of peppers. It's a salad actually that Angel, who we haven't seen in a while, but she's in the pepper business. And she recommended this recipe, something called a pancetta. I think it's called pancetta. Pancetta, yeah. And it's basically a salad without any lettuce in it. It's made up of peppers and a vinaigrette that you mix up. That's quite tasty. And you sort of let it all marinate. And you can add onions to it. Like the one we're having tonight, I've got red onion and white onion in it. And I have olives. And I have green, red, and yellow peppers. And celery. And cucumber. And tomatoes. And it's all sitting in the fridge right now, having its little natural juices blend together with the vinaigrette. And then when I take it out of that tonight, I'm going to add some cubed up ham to it. And they call for some crouton-like things that you make, and I've already done that. But you don't put those in until the last minute because they'll go soggy on you. But actually it's very, very tasty. And it's a great way of, if you've got a lot of peppers, if you grow peppers, and you have them all come on at once, because they do, unless you want to make a lot of stuffed peppers. And we also slice them up and freeze them in little baggies for cooking purposes, and that kind of stuff. So we always have peppers. We don't buy them in the grocery store. We grow them, and we grow them under the lights too, during the winter. And Walter's got have you guys started?
Yeah, I'm getting some started because actually the ones that I have are actually left over from last year, and they're getting really woody, and they don't tend to produce as many peppers. So I'm gonna get rid of them and put new ones in.
So usually under the grow lights, we've got it down now. We can grow a certain brand of lettuce. We can grow peppers. We can grow our basil, and we're going to try, Walter's already seeded from some of the tomatoes that we had. There's a short bush tomato that's, they actually call it a kitchen tomato, don't they, or something?
Well, they called it a kitchen tomato, but it's a certain variety.
It's more like a cherry tomato.
Yeah, it's a cherry tomato, but it grows really low. It doesn't get really high. So, and I'm not sure if it was a, what do you call it? Hybrid or not, so we'll see. But the leaves coming up they look like the same leaves that the
and you just took
all I did was I saw it on YouTube and I figured it's not gonna work, right? But I took a couple of tomatoes and I just squeezed the seeds out onto the soil, and
they took.
I've got 1 million tomatoes coming up.
So we'll see how that works this year. And meanwhile, the other thing Walter's been busy on, and I have to show you this picture of him. Walter with his little eye treatment on. What's the matter with your eye, Walter?
I've got dry eyes, so they suggested I do hot compresses once or twice a day, which That's what I do. It's my morning routine now. Hot compress.
It just looks like one of those, people with those sleep masks kind of a thing night. So there he is soaking his eyeballs.
And it helps. I haven't had any problems.
Okay, so now the few people have come in, I think, while we were talking here. Pat Wainwright is here. Hello, Pat Wainwright. Oh, Russ is here, finally. I was just the cause of commotion in Publix. Details Wednesday. Oh, he's got a little teaser for us for his blog. Well, everybody's going to have to tune into Russ's vlog on Wednesday to find out what he did in Publix. Ooh, did you run through the fruit and vegetables naked again, Russ? You know that they warned you about that. Let's see. Just backing up here. Caroline is here. Hi, Caroline. Arda is here. Let's see. Good morning. Oh, Jen is here. Colleen says, holy mackerel, those fish are going to be shaken up by those stormy seas. Stephen, it's stunning already. Yeah, I'm really liking it, but there's still many miles to go with it. So people are liking that pattern. Well, that's a good thing. Pat, I said hello to. Just catching up here. Don't want to miss anybody. Glenna is here. Did I miss anybody? Just bounced up on me. Zaza knows that salad we're talking about too. She says it's really tasty. Yeah, it's the vinaigrette that goes in. It's a very easy one. It's just, what is it? It's olive oil, lemon juice, vinegar, pepper, salt, Dijon mustard. I think that's it. I think that's all that's in it. And yeah, it's quite tasty. And Denise is here. Congratulations on successful gardening, Stephen and Walter. Yeah, it's more Walter. Yeah, he does it all. Linda says, is it working?
What? The mask? Yes.
Oh, okay.
The mask is made of, I'm not sure. It's a Bosch & Lomb mask that you buy.
Ooh,
and it's specifically for this purpose. I bought it at Walmart. You can buy some online, and they have these glycerin pearls or something in them. And you heat it up in the microwave for, well, in our microwave, it says anywhere from about 11 seconds to about 15 seconds. And you'll wear it for about 10 minutes at a time. And
it just makes his eyes pop. Yeah, it's so soft now around the skin. Yeah.
And it has a plastic envelope. It's a thick plastic envelope where the pearls are in. So, yeah,
pearls.
They get hot.
Zaza says, I get free tomato plants and potatoes from my homemade compost. You can slice tomatoes and plant the slices too. Yep, things grow well and shit. And Jean says, cantaloupe? No, I'm married. I'm sorry I can't elope with you, Jean, but thanks for asking. Yes, we do have our melons, our cantaloupes. They're small. They're kind of a 2-bite cantaloupe.
I think I started them too late, so
we're leaving them on the vine for as long as we can before, until we...
Yeah, like they're supposed to, when they're ripe, they're supposed to start separating from the vine automatically.
What, they pack their bag and leave? What?
Yeah, but
that's why they call them cantaloupe.
They're still solidly attached, and then one that we've got laying on the deck, I think something tried to gnaw at it.
Oh, probably one of the chippies or the squirrels. They're always trying to eat everything. Linda says, very healthful salad. Yes, it is. Russ says, I caused a woman to scream in excitement. Well, there's a first. Why? Did you sneak up behind her and scare her? And yeah, Charlotte says, Russ, was she a channel member? Oh, okay. Full details Wednesdays. It's all the teaser you get. Oh, he's really doing this now. Yeah, you tease, Russ. You tease. Jen says, my father-in-law used to squeeze tomatoes onto kitchen paper towel and let them dry out, store them until next season, and grew every time. Didn't you say you read
Yeah,
something about
actually,
that?
I did save some seeds, and I watched some YouTube, and they suggested you put them in a container with some water for about a week or so, and it causes them to begin to ferment,
No.
and then you strain it so all the stuff gets off of it.
And then you drink that?
No. And then you rinse them out and then let them air dry on paper plate or something like that, and then store them in an envelope, and then they're good for the next year or whatever.
No, it reminds me, you wanted some of those coin
Yeah,
envelopes.
yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're right here, down
Okay.
here. Remind me later. Yeah, so, but you didn't do it that way. You just squeezed them out onto the ground.
Well, yeah, in the ones that I'm growing now, I just took the tomato and squeezed them right into the soil. And I was, for some reason, I didn't think they would work right away, but
Well,
they
did.
So
They did. Branca's here. Yeah, okay, so garden's going nicely. So some announcements. Usual, sewing with Stephen, Wednesdays. Walter sometimes appears with it. It depends on, what kind of busy day he has. If Crappy Tire has a sale, whether he needs to go out to lunch with a friend, whether, he wants to stare at a computer screen all day, learning about the world and passing on his vast knowledge of it all to me that goes in one ear and out the other.
depends
Whatever.
on how social I want to be. That
Or
day.
how social he wants to be, all that kind of stuff. One thing about this just dawned on me, okay? Yesterday, I think somebody tried to get in on Stephen, Sewing with Stephen. They clicked the link. Well, I know when someone has clicked that link because I get an email notification. Of course, they couldn't get very far because I wasn't there, so it wasn't opened up. Or they could have been just testing their system. But then I realized that on that link, it says for time, this is a reoccurring event or something like that. Now, that comes back from the early days of when we started the Sewing with Stephen, that instead of having a different, every week I had to go in and book a new time slot, like a new URL to click to, you could just go and say, okay, just use the same one all the time. And that's what I set it up for. But I didn't think about the fact that if somebody's not that familiar with Zoom, or even if you are, it could be very confusing the first time. You look at it and you might think, oh, you're sewing 24/7. It's open all the time, kind of a thing. Well, it's not. So I have changed that now. I mean, still the same link. I didn't change that. I just put in a line that says what time it starts. So just in case that was confusing some people, because it never dawned on me before that might have been a problem. So yeah. But anyways, it's not really a problem, but it just makes things a little more clear, I guess we can say. So that's on Wednesday, starting at 9 a.m. All are welcome. Come and go as you please. Okay, links in the show notes. Pop-Up Sew Day is coming up October the 11th. That is Saturday, October 11th. So that's a week from, well, it was 2 weeks from yesterday. Not next week. No, the week after this coming week, there will be a link for the Pop-Up Sew Day in everything that I put up during the week. So you'll find it there, and those of you on the mailing list, I'll send it out to you as well. So that's coming up fast, October the 11th. That is also Canadian Thanksgiving weekend. Not that it matters much. Gobble, gobble. Which reminds me, we haven't seen the turkeys in the backyard lately. Maybe someone's having them for Thanksgiving. Or they're
Who knows? Or maybe they've moved on. Maybe they've found a new place to roost.
Maybe. But I miss my turkeys. The whole family of them. They were fat little suckers too.
Now, mind you, since we've gotten the new windows, we don't hear as much noise through.
No, that's true. So, yeah, maybe they're there and we just don't know it. They're hiding. Okay, retreat. This coming Wednesday, here on my channel, there will be a special announcement video talking all about the retreat. And in that video, it will also mention when registration starts and there's a whole bunch of other information. So that goes live on my channel on Wednesday, October the 1st. I believe I set it for 7 a.m., but then it'll be there for all time until the retreat date. The retreat date is still October the 25th. And yeah, now I highly recommend, especially if you're somebody new, but even if you're somebody that's been to the retreat several times before, do watch the video. And all the information that's in the video will also be all copied out for you in the show notes. So you'll be able to, you can cut and paste that into something else if you want for future reference. And anybody on the mailing list as well for the channel, I will send all that information out to you as well, so that you'll have all of that at your fingertips. So not to worry. But that's on Wednesday. But that's not when the registration opens. So you'll have to see the video to find out what the date is of the registration. And I think the registration actually is on Monday, October 6th. Is Monday, October 6th? Is that a Monday? I think that's when I'm opening it up. Secretary, check my agenda for me, please. Thank you. Okay. So we talked about the garden. Oh, I made some more pickled jalapenos.
Yeah, it's a Monday.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, is that 7 a.m. your time zone?
Yes. 7 a.m. Eastern time. So, for you poor people out on the West Coast, it's really early. But you don't have to be there right at that time. I open the doors at 7:30. That's for the retreat. For the actual registration, that's 9 o'clock. Yeah, 9 o'clock. I'm getting ahead of myself. 9 o'clock Eastern. Now, you are not allowed to register before 9 o'clock on Monday, October the 6th. That's to keep it fair for everybody. So if you try to register before that, I won't record it. I know. I'm a bugger. But whatever. But please watch the video, because the video is short. It runs about 10 minutes, 12 minutes. It tells you everything you need to know in that video. Okay. So, we're talking about the garden. I pickled some more jalapenos. So we have lots of pickled jalapenos, and I might do another jar of them yet because we still have some out on the vine. And tomorrow on my vlog, I'm going to show you Dracula's Castle. Dracula's Castle is a 3D printed structure. You have seen some of my 3D printed structures before. When I say that mine, the ones that I made, but they're not my design. I buy the design from a guy that goes by the name of, and I'm not sure how you're supposed to say it. It's F-U-L-V. Fluv. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's supposed to be short for something like Fun Love. I don't know. Whatever. But he is an incredible designer in 3D prints. I suspect he's an architect or an engineer or possibly both. He obviously knows how to use AutoCAD programs for designing these things. They fit together. There's a lot of pieces. I've been working on this off and on for a month to get all the pieces made. And this weekend, I glued the sucker all together and got it set up. And it lights up, and I will show you what it looks like tomorrow on my vlog. But I love making these things. I'm just running out of spaces to put them. That's the tricky part. But they look really good. So yeah, stay tuned for that tomorrow on my vlog. Okay, so we had a busy weekend. At least we had a busy day yesterday. We went to a shop hop. Now, this is sort of an annual event. I think we missed it last year.
No, I think we went to part of it last year.
Oh, we didn't do the whole thing.
We didn't do the whole thing last year for some reason. I can't remember why.
So we did the whole thing, though, this year. And it's 4 stores. And they're fairly spread out. They're not like all next door to each other.
But they're within about a half hour.
Yeah,
20 minutes.
20 minutes to half an hour of each other.
Yeah.
And
by car.
Yeah. So we started. So there's 4 stores. Kawartha Quilting, which you've heard us talk about before. Bolts and Bobbins.
Apple Sorry,
Appleseed.
Appleseed Quilts
Yeah, that's in Lindsay.
and Quiltiful.
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 Quiltiful. I want to say Quiltful, but there's an I in between.
Quiltiful in a place called Bob Cajun.
Bob Cajun. That's the furthest away from us, that one. So we started out at Kawartha Quilting. Now, on Idiot Quilter this week, I will show you what I bought, because I did buy it. I didn't buy a lot of stuff, but I bought probably about $400 worth, a little over 400. You kind of feel like if you're going to teach one of these stores, you should buy something. And
I spent about $238 on
oh, I didn't think you bought that much.
Yeah, I know. Add it up.
Yeah, so anyways, I will be showing you that haul on Tuesday on Idiot Quilter. It was a nice day for this because it was sunny, it was warm, and the whole bit. So we started off on Kawartha Quilting. Now, I did do a video of all of this, but I'm not going to show it today. That will come out on Chatty this coming Friday, so you'll be able to see it all. Unfortunately, when we were at Kawartha Quilting, I forgot to take pictures when we were inside the store. So you don't see that. But I have shown you the inside of the Kawartha Quilting because we go there on a regular basis in other videos. So
Yeah.
that was there, but I forgot to show that. So we started off there, and that was our first stop, as I said. And then we went to another place called Bolts.
No, we went to Appleseed.
We went to Appleseed, that's right, which is in Lindsay. And it's a nice store, too. Kawartha Quilting is a very nice store. So is Appleseed. Quilt, they call it Appleseed Quilt Works, and we've been there.
That's
before.
in Lindsay.
That's in Lindsay for those of you that live in Ontario. The rest of you won't have a clue where that probably is. Little town, just northeast of us. And we bought a few things in there too. And then we.
It's a little town, but it's not that little.
Well, it's not that little, no.
Yeah.
No, they kill people with crossbows there, but that's a story for another day. That was in the news recently. Yeah, scary. Don't expect that in Canada. Well, it's not a gun. You know, it's just a very elaborate bow and arrow. So then we went to a place called Bolts and Bobbins, and I'm going to circle back to that one for a good reason. And then we finished up at Quiltiful.
It's hard to
Quiltiful.
explain. It's Quiltiful.
Yeah.
Quiltiful.
So anyways, that was a nice
That was a
store.
nice surprise.
They haven't been in business for that long. And the funny thing was, the owner of the store saw us and she goes, "It's Stephen and Walter." I went, "Oh, hi," recognized by this. She watches our channel. And she also said that she is a member of the guild that put on the Buckhorn quilt show that we went to a couple of weeks ago. And if you remember, I did a video about that and how much we really enjoyed that show and everything. We had that one crank lady wrote us that nasty comment because I don't know what was the matter with her. But anyways, and she says, yeah, we're members of that guild and everything like that. And the guild is really appreciative of all the nice things you said about our quilt show. And I said, well, we meant it because I told her, I said, honest, we didn't expect much. And we were pleasantly surprised. It was well organized. The quilts were beautiful. You had a nice bunch of vendors there and everything. And people were really friendly and everything. So, except for the one that wrote the comment. And she kind of said, yeah, she's sort of on holiday right now. Wink, 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 wink. I have a feeling she might have a reputation as being a bit of a bitch. And has caused problems with their guild before. I don't know that for sure because we didn't get into it or discuss it and gossip.
No, but yeah. So everybody else seemed to be like it. So
yeah,
we're happy about that.
We're happy about that.
That's positive feedback for us. So
and for them too, because I want to support them. And when we go to quilt stores or we go to events about quilting and stuff like that, we don't go there purposely to cut them up and say nasty things. We go to enjoy ourselves, but we give you our honest opinion. But,
I mean, if there's something really glaringly out, we may not say it.
We may not, talk about that or anything too. But no, we genuinely, we're very genuine about it. We're not making things up or anything like that. So that brings me back to this store called Bolts and Bobbins. Well, this one is a little out in the country.
Yeah, it's in a place called Woodville, which is a
Yeah.
small community northeast of us. It's significantly northeast of
Yeah,
us.
it's
and
peak.
and it's and it isn't actually in the community. It is outside of the community in a rural area. So it is sort of like out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. In fact, the very first time 2 years ago that we did the shop hop and we went there, we had never been there before. It was new to us. And we really thought we were in the wrong place. When we got there, it looks like a farm. And there wasn't really at that time any big huge sign saying what this was. It actually said family something or somebody's
Yeah.
family, whatever. But then we saw that they had like a more modern barn-like structure, and it did have a quilting, one of those outdoor, what do they call that? A quilt
Emblem.
emblem,
But it didn't actually
barn
have
star.
like a name on the top. It just had this
Yeah.
quilt emblem on the top.
And there was a sign on the door that said open.
Yeah.
So we decided to go in at the time, and yeah, that was the quilt store. Cute little quilt store. Well, not that little, but
It's a good size.
it's a good size because they have a good size back area for classes and things like that. Lots of fabric and things there. Not all of it's to our taste, but that's okay. I mean, I'm sure people could find it, but it was nice. So yeah, we thought, well, we'll definitely come back to it again. We hadn't been there since that time then, because as we said, it's a little off the beaten track for us to go there. Well, so we did. We went in and we're looking around, and there was about 4 ladies plus the owner working in there. 2 ladies were cutting fabric. One was at the door sort of welcoming you and talking about what was happening, like the sale and everything like that. And you had a passport and you need to get it stamped for each, because once you went to all 4, you put it in a box in the last store you went to, and there's a big draw for prizes or something. And each store have prizes as well. So we were in there. Now I had a definite list I was trying to keep myself from going nuts on this. But I had certain fabrics or types of fabric. I was actually looking for some Christmas fabric on that and some O Canada line of fabric from Northcott. So we're in there looking around, and we're talking to the ladies that were doing the cutting and stuff. Everything was fine and dandy. The owner of the store was there. She said that there was a demo at the back, about, because they have a quilt that if you go to all 4 stores, you get a piece of the quilt pattern, and then you have all of them for this. And I guess they were doing a demo about an easy way to make half square triangles and stuff like that. So I went back and saw the lady that was doing the demo, and she talked about that, and that was fine. It wasn't anything I didn't already know, but she did show me about doing a flange binding, and they had a little printout about that, which is very helpful. And I got out my camera and I did some video. And the owner of the store looks at me and goes, I don't want you doing any videoing. And that's how she said it. And I went, okay. And I jokingly said, oh, you don't want to be on YouTube? And she says, we were on YouTube before and you weren't very nice to us. Huh? And you insulted one of my employees, one of the ladies that were here. Huh? Well, I said to her, first of all, it's okay. If you don't want me to video you, that's fine. But I said, can we talk about this? Because that was 2 years ago. And I says, I really don't remember insulting anybody here. And I don't think I said anything bad about your store. I may have said that your fabrics were not quite to my personal taste. I may have even used the term, and you guys have heard me say this before, a lot of kind of old lady fabrics here. But that's a joke, kind of a thing. Of course, she didn't know me well enough, so maybe she took it seriously. But I'm going in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, what the hell did I say that she took? Like, she didn't ask me kindly. She was very like,
Yeah, it was confrontational.
it was very confrontational, and just changed the whole tone. And so
And then all of a sudden, one of their employees sort of said, "Yeah, you
insulted me.
You insulted me."
I don't remember. But, okay, so there were some people ahead of me. I got some fabric cut that I wanted, and I waited for these people to pay for theirs. And then when I got up to her, I says, okay. I said, I am really sorry if you were offended by what I put up on YouTube about your store. But I said, that was 2 years ago. And I really don't remember. And I said, if I had had a bad experience here and I had reported that, I would have remembered that. And I'm pretty sure I didn't say anything that was offensive or...
Yeah, like we were trying to rack our brains as
Yeah.
to what in the world that we said or what was said.
And I said to her, I'm really sorry that you took it that way. But I said, if you reached out to me and told me your concerns, I would have if I made a mistake, I would have corrected it. Well, no, I didn't want that. I don't watch your channel or anything like that. And somebody else came in here and told me to watch it because it was absolutely disgusting. And I said, okay, I would not have done anything like that. I'm pretty sure. With it. But if you want, we can discuss this further. I can review the video and take a look. And if I feel there's something that you didn't like, I'll do. No. And then I tried to explain to her, and I was getting a little PO'd at her because she wouldn't let me finish a sentence. She just bang, bang, bang. And
then you said, well, we came back.
Yeah, I said we came
back.
back.
And then she says, well, you've only been here twice.
Yeah. Oh, she was out for blood. So I was very, very upset by that because I know I didn't do anything. I was sure of it. But when you get this sprung upon you like this, you start to second guess yourself, or at least I do. I'm trying to rack my brain and think, what could I have possibly have done that I'm getting this kind of attitude from? Well, when we got home, actually, it was after that we went to the last store in the one in Bob Cajun we were talking about, Quilter Fall.
Sort of dampened our spirits.
Wow, that was the best store at that, because that just went the other way on the loop, and that kind of
actually, Steve had been all upset about the comments. We went all the way up. We discussed it all the way up to Bob Cajun, and then we went to this Quilter Fall, and the reception we got there was night and day difference.
Yep.
And it was just so much different than this other store.
And Kawartha Quilting and Appleseed Quilt Works, they were both equally as inviting and friendly, and I've dealt with them all before too. But but this woman, just the exact opposite. So when we got home, I went looking for the videos, and it wasn't easy to find because of the number of videos I do and the way, the search on a YouTube doesn't really find everything. If you don't have certain keywords in there, it can't find it. But I had a date kind of a thing, and I searched for it, and I found the 2 videos. So I reviewed them in fine detail, and then Walter reviewed them as well. So I watched them both twice through and was noting everything. And there's 2 videos. One was we did the day after. It was on a Saturday when they had the shop hop, same as this time, same time of year. On our live, we talked about the shop hop. And what we talked about on the live was not about her particular store. We talked about the things that we would, because it was our first time ever doing a shop hop, what we thought would have been more helpful if certain things had been done. And we didn't. It was criticism. It was constructive criticism. Like we said, well, on the passport, they had the list of all the stores and their addresses, but they didn't have their website on it, and they didn't tell you what their store hours were. So we had to go to their websites before we went out because we needed to plan our route. Because most of them had the same opening and closing time, but one didn't. But we found out that they were matching it with the other ones for that day. We didn't know anything about the sales, like what's going to be on sale. Never said anything about that. It didn't say anything about the fact that there was going to be like this, you'd get pieces of this quilt pattern. If you did all 4 stores, you had the full quilt pattern. These little things like this that they left out. And our suggestion was maybe on the passport, they could simply add that information. It would take 2 minutes to add it because I'm sure they've got it saved. Well, I know they do because it was exactly the same graphics this year as it was that year. So, and everything like that. That's all we talked about on there. We did not talk about the individual stores because we had made a second video, which was the video that I had taken that particular day. Now, she said that we had said something derogatory about their horses. They breed Clydesdales on this. That's why it's sort of on a farm. I guess that might be their principal business or whatever. I didn't say anything about their horses. The only thing I said was, she said that there was food in the back. And it was under a tea towel. There were muffins. And she had a tea towel over top of them. And I made the comment, well, maybe because we didn't see any food when we came in there. We didn't even know. That wasn't on the passports either, that these places had food as well. You know, little snacky things, and you could have a coffee or something. But there was nothing on the passport, so you didn't know that this was there. And so I made the comment on the video that, well, I guess that's to keep the flies off. But I said, because this is a horse farm, so there's always flies. They call them horse flies. There's always flies there. But I also said, right after I said that, but there doesn't seem to be any flies at all in here. You know, that's all I said. A passing remark.
So that could have been misconstrued. I don't know.
That the place was dirty and filthy?
Yeah, I don't know.
But in the same video, I said, this place is beautiful. It's so nicely laid out. And so, like, I sung their praises. Now, another thing that I had said in the video is that when we first walked in, they have a big cutting table there, and there were 2 ladies standing by it. And they gave us that look like, do you guys know where you are? That look. And I said, well, at first it was they were a little bit standoffish, it seemed. But once they saw us, you know, taking down fabric, getting it cut, and I made the comment, you know, money changes everything, kind of thing. I said they were very nice. And they were. There was no problems with that. Those are the only comments that we made. On the live, we talked about how we thought in the future.
Yeah, but no, but in the video that you did of the store, you didn't say anything about the being standoffish.
No.
And you didn't say anything about the food. It was in the comments that we did during the live.
That's right. With it. And that was to illustrate basically that we didn't know there was food because it wasn't on the passports. That's all we were saying. And in fact, that conversation had been generated because the last store that year we went to was Kawartha Quilting. And one of the staff there, because we're kind of regulars, she came up to me and she said, so how did you find things? And I says, well, I thought it was a good day. We went to a couple places we didn't know even existed and everything like that. And I said, oh, I think that might have been the first time they had done it. I'm pretty sure that was their first one too. And she said, did you have any suggestions in that? And I said, well, and I just said what I said now. You know, it would have been helpful if we had known there was like
a sale on
what that was. It would have been helpful if we knew what the hours of the store were. But I said, you know, pretty good. And this employee let it be known to me that the person who actually puts the whole thing together, yeah, they've had some problems getting information out of her or put on there and that. But they were having a big meeting of all the store owners on the Monday to just go over everything. And so they wanted my feedback because they were asking for feedback so they can improve, right? Which seems reasonable. Now, at the time that they said this, I thought they didn't identify who the lady was that put it together. I thought in my own mind it might have been the lady who does the Appleseed Quilt Works one in Lindsay. I thought she might have been the person who had organized all of this. But after we
after we had the incident on the weekend
and we reviewed the videos, and we said, we now realize that it was probably the lady who's the owner of Bolts and Bobbins. And that's what she saw. And that's what she was pissed off at me about.
because you criticized the organization.
Because I criticized the organization. Now, when I say criticize, I did not say this was a horrible thing. Who in their right mind would have ever organized it this way or anything like that? I did not. I just said, well, this is what, because we were asked. And so this is what we said. So anyways, we are pretty sure she never saw the video that we did on So Chatty, where we had the whole thing of all the stores and hers and all the things that I said. Another one of those cases where she hadn't watched the whole thing. And I even said to her, if you watch our YouTube channel regularly, you would know how we handle it. No, I'm never watching that again. You said, okay, fine. I mean, I knew at that point, I got to get out of here. I bought fabric from her, though.
I had already left.
Which Walter usually does. When things like this happen, he tucks his little tail between his legs and he runs out. You know, I wouldn't want to be in a war with him and waiting for him to back you up, because he would be long gone. Benedict Arnold. Anyways, so like I said, we reviewed both videos very carefully and went through it. And no, she does not know what the hell she's talking about. Not only that, but there was another factor. She was told, as I already mentioned, by somebody, I don't know who the somebody was, said, well, you don't want to watch that because it was just horrible. It was disgusting, the things he said and the whole bit like this. No, it's not. So, if you are curious about what this is all about, I have put a link in the show notes. It goes to my Google Drive. You can download and watch those two clips. It's not the whole video, but it's the video where we specifically talk about those things. And you can assess it yourself and see if I was a horrible individual with this. Because I definitely was not a horrible individual with it. So, here's what I want to talk about then, after this experience. First of all, we will never darken the doors of Bolts and Bobbins again. If this is how you treat customers, I don't want to have anything to do with you. I am telling you about this. Now, most of you are in the States or far away from here, so you're never going to have a chance to go to Bolts and Bobbins at all. But maybe some of you that live in this area in the Southern Ontario, I'm not saying don't go. It's a nice store. The prices are fair. With the exception of the owner, the ladies that work in there seem to be very accommodating and helpful. And if you like the style of fabric that they have, then you'll find a good assortment of it. It's worth probably the drive. Just beware. If you deal with the owner, she may or may not be very warm and friendly. Now, another thing, having said that, she might be warm and friendly to you if you're female. First of all, her attitude towards us, I think, was one that we were men. The temperature in the room when we walked in went down a couple of degrees. Now, that happened the first time we were there, and it happened the second time. The first time, maybe more so because we were men. The second time, more because I didn't know this whole thing was brewing. And she's probably been seething about this for 2 bloody years. And has a grudge. You know, if it bothered her that much, why not contact me? That's what I do. If something's bothering me that bad, I confront the other individual. And I don't even want to use the word confront. I talk to the person and see if we can reach a middle ground. Because in my opinion, that's what mature adults do. Really. Second of all, we're gay. This is out in the country. Hate to be a stereotype here. But as soon as you remove yourself from a bigger city kind of thing. Farming country, traditionally, here in our country, farmers do tend to lean a little bit more to the right. Not saying that these people are homophobic or anything like that, but I'm just saying, you know, we entered into a female world. Now, I thought we were over that. I really did. Males entering into this, because, I mean, lots of males. Well, people don't have that much of a problem with that anymore. But maybe things are a little different when you're out in a more isolated area. I don't know. The lady that I supposedly insulted, nope, didn't say a word to her. The only thing we can think of is that on the video, the one that showed all the quilt stores, I had asked, because they were our first one we went to, can you explain what this is all about, how this works and everything? And she did. She talked about everything that was there. And I said to her at the time, oh, I said, there's nothing printed saying there's a discount on the fabric. And I said, you know, that would have been nice to know. I said, why? I would have thought that would pull more people in, because, you know, they're going to get a deal. And she says, no, we didn't do that because that's part of the enticement, the surprise for you. And I said, well, okay, that's one way of thinking about it.
I just sort of thought to myself, it should have been advertised. Oh yeah, part of the other problem was on the video that we were talking about, which I had forgotten about, was that before we went on the shop hop the first time, I went and checked all the websites of all the stores that were on that shop hop, and none of them indicated that the shop hop was happening. Right?
Yeah.
There was no links, there nothing. So you had no information other than the fact that we had this passport that this shop hop was happening. So, and nowhere on that passport did it show that there was any kind of discounts or anything like that.
Said nothing about any of that stuff.
So it was very, I don't think it was very well organized the first time around. It was maybe they left things.
They have definitely improved it.
Yeah, it's definitely much better.
Yeah.
This time.
But, you know, growing pains, you know, that was their first time doing it. So, and I had been asked about how I felt about it, what if I had suggestions and things, you know.
In fact, this time it was much better, because each of the places were offering a 20% discount.
Yeah, 20% discount
on all the fabrics.
Yeah,
so
it was a better deal this time. So anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I suppose I insulted this one woman. I looked on the video. The only thing that I could think of, and it was not an insult, and if she felt she was insulted by that, she was definitely looking for a fight or something out of it, digging deep. Because I had said what we just said, that this lady explained the discounts and everything that was going on and this kind of stuff when you're there. And we talked about that on the live. And I looked over at Walter, and you'll see it in the video. And I kind of did some bullshit about the way what they were trying to say about, you know, that it sounded to me like, yeah, we probably should have said that, but we're going to stick to our guns and make up a story about that. We're keeping it a secret to entice people. Well, I don't think...
I think they were just trying to cover up for poor planning. That's all.
But I wasn't pointing that out about her, about that individual. I was just, it was the overall concept of it. That was it. So you can be the judge. As I said, I've put them up there. I have not doctored the videos. I have not edited. The only thing I did was I took off, because, you know, on So Chatty, we had other things to talk about, and we had other things on the live. I cut off that in stuff, and those two videos run, I think one runs 15 minutes, one runs 10, something like that. And you can judge for yourself. But what I want to say about this is, she was a nasty person. She's not a reasonable person. She insulted me. Now, she would probably say, well, I insulted her. Well, I did not. And as I said, we're not going back, and we tell this story now. If anybody asks us, we're going to tell them, well, we had a bad experience. And this is why we had it. As a person who runs a company, she should be aware of what she says to customers, because customers talk. Word of mouth about your business counts for an awful lot. And I said in the video that you'll see on Friday on So Chatty, near the end of it, when I was discussing this again, but not quite as much detail as we're discussing it now, I said, when I go to a quilt store for the first time, yes, I'm looking at what they have for fabric. I'm looking at what they're charging for it. But what's more impressive to me is the customer service. If they're friendly, if they greet you, if they're helpful, if their fabric costs a little bit more, I will still come back because they're treating their customers well. Kawartha Quilting, go back to them all the time because they treat the customers well. Appleseed Quilt Works, they're a little more pricey, although things seem to be evening out now amongst all the stores. They're all about the same. But she's always friendly. She's always very nice. Ultimate Sewing, always helpful, friendly, always. Those.
I mean, I've seen people in some of the stores get mistreated, are mistreating the staff.
Yeah.
When they're there, and they still smile.
And they still smile and carry on because the customer's always right. And Quilter Fall, loved it. And definitely would go back there again too. But again, they create, your staff and the owner of the store create an atmosphere in the store. They create something by greeting their customers, by asking if they can help, by being friendly and talking to them. It becomes a destination. And people will come back because they felt that it was a nice, warm, safe, friendly, helpful, supportive environment. And that's, you make more money with that kind of atmosphere than being like all that in a bag of chips, because that's what I think. And of her. So yeah, she'll never see this video, so she'll never know, but maybe one of her friends will see it and tell her about it, and it's not going to make her happy, but I'm being very honest about it. She accused me of being a bastard. Basically, she didn't use the word, but that I had been a horrible person to her, and I was not. So yeah. So I guess that's all. Anything you want to say to that?
No, nobody's scared. Everybody's scared of you.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Well, I'm just seeing Philippa's here. Hi, Philippa. Did anybody else come in? Oh yeah, Jen came in. Did I miss anybody else? I think I got everybody.
Actually, we had a chain fabric store in this area in several locations, and I used to go in there once in a while to buy. They had more fabric than just quilting fabric. They had other fabric, and I went in there a few times to buy things that I couldn't get at a quilt store, and I always got poorly treated in those stores. And I thought to myself, well, it's probably because I'm a man, right? And going in there. Then later on, I found out that women that I sewed with and that said, oh, yeah, they don't treat anybody well in that store. Like you always feel like you're taking up their time for them to help you, right? Yeah. And both of those stores have since closed, and but not necessarily because they're poor service. I don't know why they closed, but maybe it is because of their poor service. But the word went around to everybody that said, yeah, if you want to be mistreated, go there.
Yeah.
At least they equally mistreated women and men. So
yeah. Now there's a few comments here. Inez says, you should receive an apology this week. Laugh out loud. Yeah, that's never going to happen. In her mind, you could tell she's the kind of person who's always right.
I don't know. Maybe it's a rural Ontario thing, because this woman's rural Ontario, when you had another problem with another woman that you
oh, you reviewed. Mean the one back in Grafton?
Yeah, that gave you a hard time.
The one that called me and everything on the phone and was terribly upset with a review I had done on her online store. This is back 6-8 months ago.
Yeah.
And you probably remember it. And she had never even seen my review, and I gave her an 8 out of 10. And she thought, what qualifications did I have to review her store? I'm a customer. We all review stores in one way or another. I just do it a little more formally, kind of a thing. But she got an 8 out of 10. And if you watch my channel, The Idiot Quilter, on a regular basis, you know that I don't give most online stores much higher than a 7 out of 10. So an 8 out of 10 is pretty damn good for that. And she just went on and on and on to me, and I had to hang up on her eventually because I said to her, now, when I let her go, and I explained all that then. I don't want to rehash it again.
No, I know,
but she got the information from another person.
She was in rural Ontario too, so I don't know.
Like, I get it. If you have a small shop, you've built from the ground up. It's your business. It's your baby. And yeah, if somebody says something bad about your business, you take it to heart. I get that. But I didn't. That's the part that I don't get. I didn't say anything bad about it. I said it's a great store. Like, no. And I was attacked for praising her.
Yeah, it was a little bit. Actually, I had already had fabric cut. If I hadn't had fabric cut, I might have put it back.
Well, I thought about it too. I had it already cut, and I'm sitting on the counter, and I could have just basically said, well, fine, screw off, bye-bye. But I didn't. I paid for what I bought, and I could have lived without what I bought. In fact, what I bought there was because I felt kind of like, okay, it's a shop hop and everything, and, I'm going to buy something from each store because I'm going to support them. They're local, sort of local, and this kind of stuff. But I didn't slam it on the counter and turn around and say, why don't you stuff this up where the sun doesn't shine or anything like that. I could have. Thought went through my head, but I remained calm. I was seething inside. I'll make no bones about it. I was shaking because I was getting really angry. That's why Walter disappeared, because he probably knew what was happening. Steam was about to come out of my ears. But I controlled myself with it because I realized, look, I'm talking to a brick wall. We're not going to have a meeting of minds. And so she's the one that we felt, I don't know if I said this already, after that one on the live where we talked about the constructive criticism, well, she basically is the one that's planned it all. And then other pieces fell together. Yeah, because we were told by the lady that was doing the demo, she says, yeah, this other lady, you understand, she rewrote the pattern because she didn't like the way that they were doing things with it. It was a commercial pattern. It was a Bella Rose pattern out of it. And she apparently didn't like the way, and there was a better way to do it, and she added this and this stuff to it. Okay, that's fine. But then doesn't that suggest something? Because all the stores were using the same pattern. And I didn't see any additional information given out by the other stores about how the pattern should be changed to make it better by them. I don't know. Maybe I haven't looked at the changes that closely because I don't know if I'm going to be doing the quilt or not. That's there. But yeah. Also, if you look at those 2 videos that I've posted on there, when we first went in that store, she only near the very end of when I was talking to her actually sort of cracked a smile. The rest of it, she's there with her pearls or whatever shiny, blingy necklace and, looking, and it's, well, this is this way. This is done like this. Then we do this, and this is what you do here. Yeah.
Anyway.
But at the time,
yeah,
it didn't register with me of that. Now the pieces all come together. So bottom line of this is you need to treat your customers right if you want repeat business, and never think that a customer is isolated, that they're in an island. They usually have friends or other people they talk to, so they're going to share what happened to them with other people, and those other people may make up their mind one way or the other as to whether they want to do business with you. The other thing is grow a hide, because someone's always going to criticize you for one thing or another. Take out of that criticism what you can use and will work for you to make things that you feel will make things better situation for you, and discard the rest with it. Don't bite, as Anna says, you pay her wages. Well, customers, there's no you. That's right. Don't bite the hand that feeds you, because you're not going to have a business if you treat your customers like that. So yeah. Oh, Sherry's here. Hi, Sherry. Dubrovka says, you both are always so honest about customer service. This will be our loss. Yeah. Now, I don't mean to be vindictive to her or anything, or revengeful about what she is. She is what she is. I'm just stating what happened to us. I am not saying don't shop at her store. I'm just telling you what our experience was. You can read into that what you want, or anybody can. And I'm sure if she ever sees this, she's going to read, well, you bastard, you're telling people not to come to my store. No, I am not. It's a nice store. It's got good fabric in it at reasonable prices. The ladies that work there are very helpful and nice. Just not her. So, yeah. So, yeah. So, I don't know. But, anyways, yeah. I wanted to share that with you because, yeah, I did. And we're being up forward and straightforward about it. If you don't believe us, if you think I'm embellishing stuff or that, go ahead and see those videos at your leisure. And you will see what I'm saying. Okay, so the main topic today was, are we governed by children? Well, this is a segue, because she was actually acting kind of childish in the way that she handled the situation. But you know, that's something the way our world goes. And so very quickly, I was going to compare the world leaders that are shaping our world right now to the various types of people, mostly boys, because most of them are boys, with kids I've come across in high school. Like, for example, the Israeli prime minister, or is he prime minister or president? I think, I'm not sure what they call him. I can never say his name. Netanyahu. Okay. He's a bully. He's bullying people right now. He's also somebody who knows everything there is to know. And he sits in front of all the world leaders at the UN and basically says, I don't care what you as a body that's supposed to help keep world peace and that say, I'm going to do what I want to do. So that's like the bully in the school. Does the same thing, the know-it-all, more the know-it-all. No, I know what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen, and screw you, kind of a thing. And then, of course, you have Putin, okay? And, you know, he likes to pick on the little guy, beat him up, because he's bigger and stronger. And he's going to make them suffer. Why? Just because that proves to everybody else in the world around him that he's bigger and stronger. And he can do that. And that's, you know, power that corrupts. And we've seen that kind of thing in school. There's always the big kid, bigger, more powerful, makes the other kids afraid of him. And he tells them what to do and takes their lunch money. And that kind of stuff, or pushes them in a locker. That kind of a thing. Then you've got, I'm saving the best for last, of course. Then you have our Prime Minister, Mark Carney. Well, he's kind of the lost boy in the group. He's new to the scene, you know, new environment he's coming into. He's playing it cautious. He doesn't want to alienate anybody. He wants to be, you know, he wants to be with the right group, and he wants to do the right thing, but he's, you know, hesitant to really make a big scene. So he's going in under the radar until he gets the lay of the land and that kind of thing. And I hope he gets the lay of the land soon, because he's starting to lose, I think he's starting to lose the confidence of Canadian people right now. So that's him. Then we have Ford, who's our premier in our province, and he's just power hungry kid. He's the one who will use anybody to say anything and do whatever he wants just to stay in power and to be powerful over everybody else. Right now, he's telling all the municipalities in Ontario to get rid of their speed cameras because they do no good and they're just a tax grab. well, he should know about tax grabs because he's done enough of them in his political career as well. But he's the one out there who doesn't take anybody's advice, doesn't want to be consulted, another know-it-all, but he's also a bully as well. And he's more like, no, you will do what I say. And if I say it loud enough, you will do it. And then, of course, you've got good old Trump. Who's all of these things? You know, he stands up in front of the world leaders at the UN without a teleprompter, and he said it wasn't working properly. I have a feeling he didn't want to use it, period, but he's blaming it on other people because that's what he does. He's never at fault. He's absolutely perfect. He blames it on everybody else. So he gave each leader supposed to get about 15 minutes to speak. He spoke for 56, and he went on and he insulted them all. I mean, he said all of them were not running their countries properly. They should look at him, and he's perfect. And he's absolutely the world's best leader. I don't know. If I'd been one of the leaders of the world, I think I would have been, to say the least, insulted by a comment like that. And I'm surprised most of them didn't get up and leave. A lot of them left when the Prime Minister of Israel, the name I can't ever say, Netanyahu.
Think of Yahoo.
Yeah, okay, he's a Yahoo. Oh, yeah, he's a Yahoo. They're all Yahoos. A lot of them got up and left from him, but he just kept going. But yeah, Trump and the escalator incident, Escagate, or whatever some of the comedians on TV are saying, like, yeah, well timed. Now he's looking for someone to blame and prosecute for this and the whole bit. Escalators stop all the time. And they figured that what the problem was his own videographer who was standing on the escalator.
At the top of the escalator.
Back and
looking down.
And his equipment.
It was a safety feature went off on the escalator and stopped it.
I mean, it's not the end of the world. So, you know, an escalator, as one comedian said, well, those are also known as stairs when it's not working anymore. Melania had no problem. She just turned around, marched up, away she goes. And the comedians were saying, yeah, she was afraid that Trump was going to bump into her and touch her. She didn't want that. He lost to Jimmy Kimmel, so he's taking it out now on the FBI, ex-FBI head director, because he said that there was Russian influence on the last election. Maybe there is, maybe there wasn't. Will we ever know? Who knows? But he wants his revenge on that kind of thing. And he feels that he should get the Nobel Peace Prize because he has stopped 7 wars. Name 3, maybe 4. Name all 7. Because some of the wars, some of the comedians have been saying, one was between apparently from one place that's over here, another place is way over here, and they're like 2,000 miles or 1,000 miles or something, or 1,500 miles away from each other, something like that. And there was no war going on there. He makes it up. So they're all little boys. But look at the UN. It's full of little boys and little girls too. They keep saying things. Well, yeah, we don't like what's going on here. We don't like what's going on here. Well, we're just going to give them a strong talking to. Yeah. And how is this being taken by these other guys? Yeah, that's having no effect. So let's talk about being ineffectual. That's little boy behavior. That's that's kid behavior in all of that. So really, world politics is just like schoolyard politics. You know, we've got the mean people, we've got the power-hungry people, we've got the bullies, we've got lunch money being stolen, we've got people being pushed into lockers. It's just on a world scale. Now, same thing. And these are learned behaviors because, and I've said this before, no kid comes to school evil. No kid is born evil. It's a learned behavior. It's learned from their environment, from their experiences with their own family, with their friends, with the media, whatever. And those kind of children grow up to be, well, leaders of the world. Isn't that nice? And you know, the worst part about this whole thing is we, the people, put them in power. In most cases. So we vote like a bunch of little school kids too. So I don't think there's such a thing as an adult. That's a concept. That's just a construct. It's in the imagination. We're all just children. Really. We all behave like children. And I guess, you know, for some of these world leaders, the way they handle things is, well, you don't like me, you don't want to do what I was going to say, then I'm just going to take my dolls and go home and cry. And then blow you up. That's the scary part of the whole thing. These are boys with big guns. They're not rubber bullets. So think about that. But anyways, so that was what today's topic was going to be about. But do we ever get to the topic? No, we don't. Maybe just call it clickbait.
Did you have any comments on there that you wanted to read? Or
No, we didn't have any in the past week.
oh, you're all scared to write.
Well,
it.
we had comments, but they weren't ones that, you know, where they were nice comments. And I appreciate those, you know, people saying what they liked and what like that. I always appreciate the nice comments. And I did comment in most cases. Not everyone do I give a comment back because some just don't, there's no need to comment. It's just self-evident. But I do, every week I do go through the comments and I do, you know, write back to whatever ones I can, or if they ask a specific question, I try to answer the question. So keep the comments coming. It's the ones that I think I should share with everybody else that I put down here. I didn't have any this week, so that's all your fault. Yeah. So let's just finish up here by looking at any comments people are saying. Colleen sees, what a rotten and unnecessary experience. I remember the videos of your previous experience and you were just. Your suggestions to improve were thoughtful and helpful for all concerned. I thought they were, Colleen, and that's what they were meant for. Carol says Trump's speech was printed in large type and on the podium in front of him. Oh, yeah, I saw that on one of the late night talk shows. They showed the binder with everything nice, little page protectors and font size about 3,000. Yeah. Barb says Melania was probably wearing stiletto type shoes and handled the escalator with no problem.
Yeah, actually, I think she was wearing stiletto, and I could tell when she was going up the stairs.
Well, she used to be a model. Stilettos are like second nature for her too.
She just goes on the.
But I thought it was a good comment. I don't know if it was Jimmy Kimmel who made it or one of the other ones saying, yeah, she was probably afraid with the thing stopped that he'd run into her and she didn't want him to touch him. She didn't want to be touched by him. So Denise says, we're talking about people that have the power to destroy nations. None of what they say or do should be taken lightly. No, it should not be, Denise. It shouldn't be taken lightly. But let's remember where it's coming from. I'm not suggesting that because they act like little boys, like immature individuals, that they're not dangerous. They're very dangerous because of that. Yes, and we need to take what they say seriously. But when you say don't take it lightly, what are you doing about it? And when I say you, I don't mean you, Denise. I mean you, as in the world. What are we doing about it? And yeah, it's easy to fall back. And we've had this discussion before where we can all say, well, what can we do? We don't have the power. We do have power, but it's just not, they're not listening to us. And, you know, look at the people that are protesting. And it takes a lot. It's not going to happen overnight with these tyrants at all. But, you know, you can do something. It just needs a lot of us to do it all at the same time, I guess. So anyways, that's it for us today. So next week, Sewing with Stephen, Wednesday, as usual. Links in the show notes. You can check out those 2 video clips that I said about this whole situation we talked about earlier. They're in the show notes. Also on Monday on the vlog, I'm going to show you some more 3D printed creations and things that I've been working on. Tuesday, Idiot Quilter, amongst all the regular things that we do. I'm also going to be, what am I doing on Tuesday?
Are you putting the video up?
That's Wednesday.
Okay.
Wednesday, but on Tuesday, I'm doing something on Tuesday. Oh, the haul from the shop hop. I'm going to show you what we bought. Wednesday, the video goes up that explains everything you need to know about the retreat. Friday, you'll see the actual video of all the shops minus one that we went to, and then we're back to Stephen and Walter live again. Yeah, as always, we welcome any suggestions for future topics we can talk about here or on any of the other videos that we put out each week, because without you, we have nothing. So yeah. Okay. Yep, that's it. So I was just checking to see if there are any last minute comments there that we needed to discuss. But so have a good week and everything, and we'll see you again real soon.